Okay, so good day everyone. So for today we're going to discuss about software testing. No, uh, in this topic, no, it provides a comprehensive overview of the critical role testing plays in the software development lifecycle. It begins by establishing the fundamental importance of software testing in ensuring the quality, reliability, and functionality of software system. This module delves into the primary objectives of software testing, including the detection and corrections of defects or defects rather, validation of systems functionality, and the verification of adherence to specified requirements. A substantial portion of this module is dedicated to different testing methodologies and approaches. Now, it discusses manual testing, automated testing, and the integration of both to achieve comprehensive test coverage. So the module explored the significance of test planning and the creation of detailed test cases to systematically evaluate software performance and functionality. So it emphasizes the need for a well-defined testing strategy to ensure thorough examination of both functional and non-functional aspect of a software system. This module highlights the testing life cycle, no, covering phases such as unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. It explains the purpose and scope of each phases, emphasizing the importance of a systematic progression through these stages to identify and address defects at various levels of the software architecture. The discussion extends to the principle of effective test case design, including boundary value analysis, equivalence partitioning, and error guessing. So quality assurance and the role of metrics in assessing testing effectiveness are explored in depth. Now, the module introduces key performance indicators and metrics to measure the efficiency and coverage of testing activities. It discusses how these metrics contribute to decision-making processes, helping stakeholders assess the overall quality of the software and make informed decisions regarding its release. This module also addresses the challenges and complexity associated with software testing. It discusses the impact of changing requirements on testing processes, the role of regression testing in managing software updates, and the needs for continuous testing in agile and DevOps environments. This module discussion underscored the importance of adaptability and flexibility in testing methodologies to meet the evolving demands of modern software development practices. Furthermore, this module explored the integration of testing into the software development lifecycle, emphasizing the need for collaboration between development and testing teams. So it discusses the concept of shift left testing, where testing activities are incorporated earlier in the development process, enabling quicker identification and solutions of issues. So in this module, it provides a comprehensive explanation of software testing, covering methodologies, testing lifecycle, test case design principles, quality assurance, no metrics, challenges, and the integration of testing into the broader development process. So it equips readers with the deep understanding of the importance of testing and ensuring software quality and reliability, making it an essential read for both software development or developers and quality assurance professional. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, po. We're going to discuss about software testing. Software testing. So understanding the key objectives and the varied types of software testing is crucial for ensuring a successful product. Right. Why software testing is important? So the foremost objective of software testing is to identify and eliminate defects or bugs within the application. These defects can range from minor glitches to critical errors that may lead to system crashes or incorrect data processing. The purpose of software testing. The purpose of software testing is to ensure the delivery of a high quality, real-world, and efficient software product. Varying the program's functionality, maximizing its performance, and improving the user's experience overall are the goal of software testing. Five typical objective of uh, testing: identification of bugs and errors, delivering quality products, justification with requirements, increasing confidence in the products, enhance growth. So number one is identification of the bug errors. Once the developer finishes coding, the tester starts testing. During the testing, the QA validates each module under various conditions. Afterwards, they collect all the errors and bugs and forward them to the developer to fix. So that's the identification of bugs and error. Number two is the main aim of testing is to maintain the quality of the products. Also, testing in its cycle, in each phase, all focuses revolves around quality only. This includes using the core testing methods to perform functional testing and non-functional testing. Justification requirements. During testing, the QA, quality assurance team, validates whether the application is following the SRS. SRS is a system requirement specification, document or not. Testing for user experience and implementing API testing helps in validating the business requirements of the product. Increasing confidence in the product. So the testing team constantly checks the features of the software. It must fulfill the business demand and drive confidence. Security, performance, and scalability testing enabled through automation. This ensures the reliability of the product. So the last is the enhanced growth. The quality delivery increases the potential of a business. And we all know that the quality comes through testing only. Increases ROI. The proper testing helps the sustained and continuous growth of the product. Business and user goals are properly met with the higher revenues and product cost efficiency. So approach towards testing. So approach towards testing. Testing is not only about working with technical expertise because it also demands critical thinking and decision-making capabilities. A tester has to think like an end user. Various questions should come to mind like whether the consumer like the color combination. What if the user cell phones get switched off immediately? So what kind of question user may ask during support? So tester need to test this chatbot during the chatbot testing. Whether the customer is okay with the layout or not. So the tester has to take care of these areas during the testing to make sure that to meet the client's expectations. So types of software testing. Number one is unit testing, two is integration, and three is system testing. So unit testing, testing individual units or components of the software independently. Integration testing, varying the interaction between different modules or components. System testing, ensuring that the system as a whole meets the specified requirements. Challenges faced in software testing. One is complex software system, testing intricate system with multiple interdependencies. Number two is resource constraints, dealing with limited time and resources for exhaustive testing. So changing requirements, adapting to dynamic changes in project scope and requirements. Software testing best practices. So early testing, start testing as soon as possible in the software development life cycle. Automation. Automation, repetitive, and time-consuming testing tasks. Continuous testing is to integrate testing into a software delivery pipeline for continuous feedback. So test plan versus test case. So have you ever heard during your work the phrase test plan? Or maybe you came across the term test case. There are many complicated expressions in the professional jargon of the software testing world that you need to be familiar with. In order to help you understand better, we are about to review the difference between test plan and test case. So definition of the test plan. A test plan is a detailed document which describes software testing areas and activities. It outlines the test strategy, objectives, and the schedule. Required resources, human resources, software, and hardware. The test estimation and test deliverables. The test plan is based on every software testing. So in example, when the product managers or QA managers create a test plan, they are creating an in-depth document that contains all the meaningful aspects of the whole testing project. From the higher point of view, in many test plans, you can find features such as schedule, scope, potential risks, staff responsibilities, defects, and bug reporting. Definition of test case. So a test case refers to the action required to verify a specific features of functionality in system software testing. The test case details the steps, data, prerequisites, and preconditions necessary to verify a features. When the tester and testing team leaders want to examine a particular features in the software, creating a test case is their answer to control this specific testing process. Typically, these cases will include precise and focused testing elements. For instance, test steps, test data, test environment, intended test results, real results, and test status, etc. So comparison between test plans and test case. Okay. So this is the test plan and the test case comparison. The benefits of the test plan and test case is in the test plan, up-to-date document is used till the end of the project. So they control the whole testing process, keeps everyone aligned, so contains the testing history. In the test case, uh, they provide the example of the desired result. So before palang matapos yung system, meron na agad sila nakita yung pinaka like yung result ng system. Insert testers aren't missing important steps. Help tester understand their daily assignments, allows identifying unexpected bugs. So understand automated testing and test-driven development or TTD. So TTD is primarily a developer's tool to help create a well-written unit of code like function, class, or modules that correctly performs a set of operations. Well, ATTD is a communication tool between the customer, developer, and tester to ensure that the requirements are well-defined. TTD requires test automation. So this is the example. So this is the process of a TTD, test-driven development process. First is to understand. Second, test case, unit test, field test, pass test, refactor, and repeat. So these are requirements. The process is the requirements, test case, unit test, understand the business problem, the highlights the requirements. Number two, under the test case, they define the test case that should be tested to validate that the requirement have been catered for. Under number three, unit tests, define the unit tests that need to be created as well as the test cases scenario associated with them. In the failed test, number four, create a test case that is expected to fail. So next is the pass test and the appropriate logic to make tests pass. Refactor, they optimize the code. So 7 is repeat. Select the next text case and repeat the process from number 4. So from 4, they will repeat the process until the 7. I think that's also for the software testing process. I think that's also for the testing process ng software.
Okay, wait for a while. Okay, so as our presenter mentioned right now, the uh, the development testing includes all testing activities that are carried out by the team development the system. So the tester of the software is usually the programmer who developed that software. Although this is not always the case. Some development processes use programmer tester pairs where each programmer has an associated tester who develops tests and assists with the testing process. For critical systems, a more formal process may be used with a separate testing group within the development team. They are responsible for developing tests and maintaining detailed records of test results. So during the development, testing may be carried out at three level of granularity. We have the unit testing where individual program units or object classes are tested. Unit testing should focus on testing and functionality of objects or methods. Another is the components testing where several individual units are integrated to create composite components. Now, component testing should focus on testing component interfaces. And the last one is the system testing where some or all of the components in a system are integrated and the system is tested as a whole. System testing should focus on testing component interaction. No, development testing is primarily a defect testing process where the aim of testing is to discover bugs in the software. So it is therefore usually interleaved with debugging and the process of locating problems with the code and changing the program to fix this problem. In choosing unit test case, testing is expensive and time consuming. So it is important that you choose effective unit testing cases. Effective in this case means two things. Now, number one, the test cases should show that when used as expected, the component that you are testing does what it is supposed to do. And another one is if there are defects in the component, this should be revealed by the test cases. We have, of course, some what we call partition testing, where you identify groups of inputs that have been common characteristic and should be processed in the same way. And you should choose tests from within each of these groups. Another is the guideline-based testing, no? Where you are where you use testing guidelines to choose test cases. These guidelines no, reflect previous experience of the kinds of errors that programmers often make when developing components. No? We have, of course, what we call, of course, in when you are testing programs with sequence, no, arrays or lists, guidelines that could help reveal defects include, especially if you're focused on the sequences, arrays, or lists, you need to test software with sequences that have only a single value. As programmers, no, naturally think of sequences as made up of several values, and sometimes no, they embed this assumption in their programs. Consequently, if presented with a single value sequence, a program may not work properly. Number two, use different sequences of different sizes in different tests. This decreases the chances that a program with defects will accidentally produce a correct output because of some accidental characteristic of the input. Another is derived test so that the first, middle, and last elements of the sequence are accessed. No? This approach reveals problem at partition boundaries. Another is the path testing. No? Path testing is the testing strategy that aims to exercise every independent execution path through a component or program. If every independent path is executed, then all segments in the component must have been executed at least once. All conditional statements are tested for both true and false cases. Now, in an object-oriented programming development process, path testing may be used when testing the methods associated with objects. So, for the component testing, no, there are different types of interface between program components, and consequently different types of interface error that can occur. For the component testing, we consider the parameter interfaces. Now, these are interfaces in which data or sometimes sub-function references are passed from one component to another. So methods in an object have a parameter interface. Another thing to consider is the shared memory interface. Now, there are interfaces in which a block of memory is shared between components. So, in this case, data is placed in the memory by one subsystem and retrieved from there by other subsystem. So, this type of interface is often used in embedded systems where sensor create data that is retrieved and processed by other system component. We have, of course, procedural interfaces. No? These are interfaces in which one component encapsulates a set of procedures that can be called by other components. So objects and reusable components have this form of interface. And another is message passing interfaces. These are interfaces in which one component requests a service from another component by passing a message to it. So a return message includes the result of executing the service. No? And some object-oriented systems have this form of interface, as do client-service systems. Interface errors are one of the most common forms of error in complex systems. So their errors fall into three classes, like interface misuse, interface misunderstanding, and the timing errors. No? Okay. Another is the incremental integration and testing. The system testing involves integrating different components, then testing the integrated system that you have created. And you should always use an incremental approach to integration and testing. Actually, you should integrate a component, test the system, integrate another component, and test again, and so on. Now, this means that if problem occurs, it is probably due to the interactions with the most recently integrated component. Now, incremental integration and testing fundamentals to Agile such as XP, where regression tests now are run every time a new increment is integrated. So, in system testing, no, it is obviously overlaps with component testing, but there are two more important differences. No? In system testing, during system testing, reusable component that had been separately developed and off-to-the-shelf system may be integrated with newly developed components. So the complete system is then tested. Components developed by different team members or groups may be integrated at this stage. So system testing is a collective rather than an individual process. No? In some organizations, system testing may involve a separate testing team with no involvement from designers and programmers. No? Ganun na ginagawa ng ibang company. Another is the test-driven development or yung TDD. This approach, no, to program development in which you interleave testing and code development. No? Essentially, you develop the code incrementally along with the test for that increment. You don't move on to the next increment until the code that you develop passes its test. So test-driven development was introduced a part of agile methods such as extreme programming. However, it can also be used in plan-driven development process. No? For the test-driven development, no, we look into the code coverage. No? We look into the regression testing, simplified debugging, and system documentation. And one of the most important benefits of this test-driven development is that it reduces the cost of regression testing because regression testing involves running test sets that have successfully executed after changes have been made to a system. The regression testing, no, checks that these changes have not introduced new bugs into the system and that the new code interacts as expected with the existing code. Again, regression analysis is very expensive and often impractical when a system is manually tested, as the cost in time and effort are very high. In such situation, you have to try and choose the most relevant test to rerun, and it is easy to miss important tests. However, automated testing, which is fundamental to test first develop, dramatically reduces the cost of regression testing. So existing tests may be rerun quickly and cheaply. So after making a change to a system in test first development, all existing tests must run successfully before any further functionality is added. As a programmer, you can run successfully before any further functionality is added. So you can be confident kung kapag ikaw ang programmer that the new functionality that you have added has not caused or revealed problems with an existing code. For the release testing is the process of testing in a particular release of a system that is intended for use outside the development team. Normally, the system release is for customers and users. No? In a complex project, however, the release could be for other teams that are developing related system. For software products, the release could be for product management who then prepare it for sale. No? There are two important distinctions between release testing and system testing during the development process. Kasi a separate team that has not been involved in the system development should be responsible for release testing. For system testing, the development team should focus on discovering bugs in the system or yung defect na system. And the objective of release testing is to check that the system meets its requirements and it is good enough to external use or validation testing. The primary goal of a release testing process is to convince the supplier of the system that it is good enough for use. If so, it can be released as a product or delivered to the customer. So release testing, therefore, has to show that the system delivers its specified functionality, kasama sa performance and dependability, and that it does not fail during normal use. It should take into account all of the system requirements, not just the requirements of the end users of the system. So most commonly, the panel during defense asking about how you'll be able to use the release testing. Are you able to conduct a release testing? No, because release testing is usually a black box testing process where tests are derived from the system specification. So the system is treated as a black box whose behavior can only be determined by studying its inputs and the related inputs, no? Or related outputs. No? Another name for this is functional testing. No? Functional testing and release testing is the same. No? So the only functionality and not the implementation of the software. Okay? So another is the requirement-based testing. No? A general principle of a good requirements engineering practice is that requirements should be testable. That is, the requirement should be written so that the test can be designed for that requirement. So a tester can then check that the requirement has been satisfied. Requirement-based testing, therefore, is a systematic approach to test case design where you consider its requirement and derive a set of tests for it. So requirement-based testing is validation rather than defect testing. You are trying to demonstrate that the system has properly implemented the requirements. No? So to check if these requirements have been satisfied, you may need to develop several related tests. No? You need to set up a patient record. Let's say, for example, kung patient history yan with known allergy and so forth. Meron din tayong tinatawag na scenario testing. No? Scenario testing is an approach to release testing where you devise typical scenarios of use and use this to develop test case for the system. So a scenario is a story that describes one way in which the system might be used. Scenario should be realistic and real system users should be able to relate to them. If you have used scenarios as part of the requirements engineering process, no, then you may be able to reuse reuse this as a testing scenarios. No? We are all familiar with performance testing. Once a system has been completely integrated, it is possible to test for emergent properties such as performance and reliability. Okay. Performance tests have to design to ensure that the system can process its intended load. No? This usually involves running a series of tests where you increase the load until the system performance become unacceptable. In this, actually in the performance testing, no, we look into the two functions. No? It tests the failure behavior of the system and it stresses the system and may cause defects to come to light what could not normally be discovered. Okay? Stress testing is particularly relevant to distributed system based on a network of processors. Now, the system often exhibit severe degradation when they are heavily loaded. Now, the network becomes swamped, no, with coordinations data that the different process must exchange. So the process becomes slower and slower as they wait for the required data from other processes. Now, stress testing helps you discover when the degradation begins so that you can add checks not to the system to reject transaction beyond this point. And most commonly, no, during our college days, no, we are always saying that we are applied, no, the user testing. User or customer testing is at stage in the testing process in which users or customers provide inputs in advice on system testing. This may involve formally testing a system that has been commissioned from an external supplier or could be an informal process where users experiment with a new software products to see if they like it and that it does what they need. No, user testing is essential even when comprehensive system and release testing had been carried out. So the reason for this is that influences from the users working environment have a major effect on the reliability, performance, usability, and robustness of the system. So it is practical, no, impossible for a system developer to replicate the system's working environment, as tests in the developer's environment are inevitably artificial. Let's say, for example, no, a system that is intended for use in the hospital is used in a clinical environment where other things are going on, such as patient emergencies, conversation with the relatives, and others. And this all affect the use of system, but delivers cannot include them in their testing environment. In practice, there are 3 different types of user testing. Kasi akala natin, alpha testing, beta testing, acceptance testing is different from the user testing. I just want to note, everyone, that user testing include alpha testing. Alpha testing where users of the software work with the development team to test the software at the developer side. Number 2 is beta testing. Beta testing where a release of the software is made available to user to allow them to experiment and to raise problems that they discover with the system developers. And lastly, acceptance testing, where customer tests a system to decide whether or not it is ready to be accepted from the system developers and deployed in the customer environment. In alpha testing, users and developers work together to test a system as it is being developed. This means that the user can identify problems and issues that are not readily apparent to the development testing team. So in alpha testing, developers can only really work from the requirement, but this often do not reflect other factors that affect the practical use of the software. User can therefore provide information about the practice that helps within the design or more realistic test. Because alpha testing is most often used when developing software products that are sold as shrink-wrap system. User of these products may be willing to get involved in the alpha testing process because this gives them early information about new system features that they can exploit. It also reduces the risk that unanticipated changes to the software will have disruptive effects on their business. However, alpha testing may also be used when custom software is being developed. Agile methods such as XP advocate user involvement in the development process and that users should play a key role in the designing tests for the system. Beta testing takes place when an early, sometimes unfinished release of a software system is made available to customer and user for evaluation. So beta tester may be a selected group of customers who are early adopters of the system. So alternatively, the software may be made publicly available for use by anyone who is interested in it. Beta testing is mostly used for software products that are used in many different environments. So it is impossible for product developers to know and replicate all the environments in which the software will be used. So beta testing is therefore essential to discover interaction problems between the software and features of the environment where it is used. Because beta testing is also a form of marketing. Customer learns about their system and what it can do for them. Acceptance testing is an inherent part of custom system development. It takes place after release testing. So it involves a customer formally testing a system to decide whether or not it should be accepted from the system developer. As acceptance implies that payment should be made for the system. And there are 6 stages in the acceptance testing process. Number 1, define acceptance criteria. Number 2, plan acceptance testing. Number 3, derive acceptance test. Number 4, run acceptance test. Number 5, negotiate test result. And number 6, reject or accept system. Okay. To sum up with this discussion, this chapter or modules, testing can only show the presence of errors in a program. It cannot demonstrate that there are no remaining faults. Take note of it. Development testing is the responsibility of the software development team. A separate team should be responsible for testing a system before it is released to customer. In the user testing process, customer or system users provide test data and check that tests are successful. Development testing includes unit testing, in which you test individual objects and methods. Component testing, in which you test related groups of objects. And system testing, in which you test partial or complete system. When testing a software, you should try to break the software by using experience and guidelines to choose types of test cases that had been effective in discovering defects in other systems. Whenever possible, you should write automated tests. The tests are embedded in a program that can be run every time a change is made to a system. Test first development is an approach to develop worst tests are written before the code to be tested. Small code changes are made and the code is refactored until all tests execute successfully. Scenario testing is useful because it replicates the practical use of the system. It involves inventing a typical usage scenario and using this to derive test cases. Acceptance testing is a user testing process where the aim is to decide if the software is good enough to be deployed and used in its operational environment. So I think that's it for software testing.